Hello, 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 hello. It is the 19th. It is Tuesday, the 19th of November, 2013, and I am your host, Ant-Man. Sorry. Anyways, I have an article in front of me right here that I've had for the past, probably like 3 days. I don't know why I haven't read it. I've been very busy, but sorry I couldn't get this to you earlier. This is old news. Everybody's already heard of this already, but I have to report it because I like to give my opinion about certain things that happen in our crazy country. TheDailyCaller.com, call to arms. Texas A&M law professor says it's time to repeal Second Amendment. Amazing. Do you think that you would have, for me, since I'm so young, I'm only 27 years old, to me it's like, I grew up in this country the way that it's already going, but I'm sure that, I was already going this way when I was born, is what I meant to say. But I know that a lot of you guys over there that have more experience, veterans, senior citizens, you guys are probably thinking this country, is on its head right now. And I don't blame you, because when I grew up in America, I was told a whole bunch of fairy tales and stuff, you know what I mean? I wasn't the liberals are always like very good at twisting the truth, and they do it because they want their own agenda to go through. But anyways, a full-time professor on the faculty of the newly minted Texas A&M University School of Law called for the repeal and replacement of the Second Amendment on Friday. The professor, Mary Margaret Meg Penrose, made her controversial declaration during a day-long panel symposium on gun control and the Second Amendment at the University of Connecticut School of Law in Hartford. UConn's main student-run journal, the Connecticut Law Review, organized the event. According to Connecticut Public Radio, it was well attended, primarily by law students, law professors, and local attorneys. All that we could do very well without. Penrose was among the speakers, reports CT News Junkie, a Connecticut news site. Penrose cited the Sandy Hook massacre, which occurred in Connecticut, as well as other mass shootings, including the 2011 Tuscan shooting that left 6 people dead and U.S. Representative Gabriel Giffords critically wounded. Noting her own outrage that Americans continue to tolerate gun violence, Penrose asked audience members to raise their hands if they thought laws intended to prevent gun violence would have been successful. No one raised a hand. Duh! Am I smarter than a freaking... Because I think I'm going crazy now. Texas A&M law professor? I'm smarter than you now? I think I'm smarter than you if you really believe that. Penrose then proposed a solution that would allow each state to determine its own gun policies. But then again, I'm not that naive to believe that people are that stupid. I believe she's probably a deceiver, you know what I mean? She's probably some type of mason or some type of moron that it belongs to some type of occult, government, or university program or whatever it is, like Skull and Bones or something, obviously not at Texas A&M, but I'm sure they're everywhere. I'm sure it's trendy now that when you go to some type of Ivy League university or some type of college that has these high recommendations, that it's like trendy to be in a secret society nowadays. I mean, everyone's doing it. I wouldn't be surprised, you guys. I'm not on these campuses, so I don't know, but the beauty of a states' right model solution is it allows those of you who want to live in a state with strong restrictions to do so, and those who want to live in a state with very loose restrictions to do so, the professor explained. Penrose also noted that she tells students in her constitutional law courses that the entire United States Constitution is an obsolete document. How dare you, woman? I mean, how much blood have you shed for this country? How dare you? Why do we keep such an allegiance to a constitution that was driven by 18th century concerns, she asked, according to CT News Junkie. How many of you recognize that the main concern of the 18th century was a standing army? That's what motivated the Second Amendment, fear of a standing army. She described herself as somewhat agnostic about guns, but extremely passionate about the Constitution she calls outdated. She's got a lot of mixed up things in her head. Connecticut Governor Daniel P. Malloy also spoke at the evening, stressing his belief that the Second Amendment offers a limited right and bragging about the strict laws he signed earlier this year. I'm going to go to page 2 because this is a 2-page article. In the 1930s, machine guns were the weapon of choice for mobsters, Malloy said. according to Connecticut Public Radio, and we collectively decided the machine guns should be illegal for private possession in the United States. We don't see machine guns being used in the U.S. in crimes. We did for some time after the ban was initially implemented, but there's a reality about what happens to those kinds of weapons once they become illegal. At least one symposium speaker wasn't hell-bent on destroying the Second Amendment. Josh Blackman, a professor at South Texas College of Law, observed that gun control laws have a sordid, racially motivated history. The first gun control laws were actually meant to subjugate slaves, Blackman explained. According to CT News Junkie, there has been a very close connection between gun control and racism. Penrose employer. By the way, it was the KKK that wanted to ban guns so that the African Americans that were fighting with against the South, who wanted to keep slavery, wouldn't be able to have guns. Hello. In our time and day today, we look at all of history, even theology, as useless. And that's one of the stupidest things in the world. Really. Without time in history, you have no frame of reference. You don't know. Who said that those that forget history are doomed to repeat it? It is true. There is racism that is connected to gun laws and stuff like that. Of course, or minority groups, if you will, or just the general public in general. Because nowadays, the government wants to take our guns away, obviously, because we're going to rise up and take our country back if they don't. And that's a fact. Almost everybody knows the corrupt government is corrupt. Or everybody knows that this administration is corrupt. Our government and our system is fine. It's just that our administrations are usurping their powers and writing fiat bills and just getting all the stuff that they do done like King John did. Just usurping his powers and saying, I can do whatever I want. I can bypass Congress. I can, that's the way our system is worked nowadays. And we don't have a voice anymore. They don't, we use it. You should use it, but they don't acknowledge our voice. The mainstream media pretends to not acknowledge the grassroots movement of free thinkers that are rising up today. Instead, they cater to all the zombies that support Obama, and they play this matrix game of like keeping you like in this stupefied mode of thinking where it's like, forget the conspiracy theorists, let's call them tin foil hat wearers and make fun of them, let's keep you guys over here. Shh. I'm gonna read my pet goat or whatever, and you guys just listen or whatever. It's stupid. They talk to you like you're stupid, and that's what you deserve if you actually listen to them. Penrose employer, Texas A&M University School of Law, is located in downtown Fort Worth. Texas A&M acquired the school just this year, reports the TAM U-Times. Previously, the school had been Texas Wesleyan School of Law. The most recent U.S. News ranking of the best law schools ranks Texas Wesleyan in the dreaded rank not published category of law schools. Third Tier Reality, a blog dedicated to hating bad law schools, has described the school as a dung pit, and a fourth tier pile of rat droppings. I take a lot of pride in where I go. I go to it's not accredited. I go to a college that's not accredited, but it's they do things right, man. They don't take government subsidies. They don't take any type of money from the government that is pretty much taken from all of us taxpayers. And I appreciate where I go to school, and I don't appreciate places like Texas A&M. They hold themselves in such high regard, but don't teach anyone anything, man. I think it's such a waste of time, and it's a sad travesty that people go to these schools and expect a good education. They're being indoctrinated Soviet Russia style. Look at this freaking teacher. I don't mean to talk any crap about her, but man, absolutely deluded, man. Anyways, do your history out there, you guys. You can't understand what's going on today if you don't have any frame of reference in history and what has happened in history. There's nothing new under the sun. You know what I mean? Everything that's happened in history is happening again today. But, that's always how it is going to be. There's nothing new that we see today that hasn't happened before. It's all the same system being regurgitated over and over again when powers become corrupt. But then again, it's our fault too because we're not doing anything about it. We're supposed to be watching the government. We're supposed to be telling them what we want. But instead, they have become totally hardcore police state, and then if we try to peacefully protest, they're gonna spray us in the eye with chemicals, and they're gonna break our arms when we're not even resisting. So you guys take this stuff very seriously, man. You have one life to live, and you guys need to defend your liberty. And especially if you have kids, man, you need to think about their future. But anyways, God bless you, and have a good day.